human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
Okay, so this is Adam Howard, and I'm here with a member of Mass Hysteria. We're a new improv group out of New York. You have the pleasure of listening to Miss Helen Kim, who one might call the heart of Mass Hysteria. How are you doing today?
I am splendid. Wow, I don't know about the heart of Mass Hysteria, but that's a very nice introduction. Thank you.
You know, we're doing sort of a vaguely Ghostbusters homage with this group, and if you remember, Pete Venkman calls Ray Stantz the heart of the Ghostbusters, and I feel, you bring that spirit to Mass Hysteria. So,
I'm Ray.
Well, you can take it that way.
I love
Dan
it.
Aykroyd was talented once. So let me ask you, I guess right off the bat, if you were to describe yourself in one word, what would it be?
Tough.
Okay, that was easy. Now the question, I'm going to ask you about all the other members, and just say the first word that comes to mind.
Okay.
Joe.
Curly.
Tommy.
Hesitant.
Alex.
Bubbly.
Becky.
Wacky.
Dan.
Creepy.
Adam.
Alpha.
Okay, I will try to deconstruct that later.
Uh-oh.
So you are probably the most experienced in terms of acting. I think that's probably fair to say of anybody else in the group. When did you first realize that you wanted to become an actress? You're a professional working actress now, right?
I don't know if I'm professional. I would like to get paid to acting. I'm not a paid actor, so I would eventually like to work myself up to being a professional actor so I can quit my day job. But
you studied acting.
I have studied acting, I guess for some time now. Should we turn that off? I don't know if that's too loud.
It's fine.
We have our AC on because it's really hot. I started when I was in high school, when I was a freshman in high school at the age of 14. And I always had this, dream of, living in New York. I'm from Los Angeles, by the way. So, living in New York City, which is, really far and just a big dream.
Why was that always a big dream for you? I mean, how did you discover your love for acting?
I think I always loved acting ever since I was little, role-playing with my friends and pretending to be people that were not, etc., dressing up. Like I said, role-playing. And then in high school, I was always very shy, sort of like, maybe I'll just take an acting class just for fun. So I took a summer acting course. So this wasn't even during the actual school year. And I ended up being cast as a lead in the summer musical. And so that sort of started my whole...
What musical was that?
It was called Once on This Island. And
what
it's
is
like
that
a
about?
Caribbean-themed sort of musical. Good music. And then throughout the rest of my high school career, I was always involved with play production and did lots of plays. And then I was going to major in history going into college because I love history. And at the very last minute, I decided to put down theater as my intended major.
Wow.
And then I ended up entering school with theater as my major. So studied theater along with art history. I ended up picking that up as a second major. And then I went to grad school for acting as well.
Was your family always supportive of that? I know I was a film major, and my parents were always sort of skeptical about that as a future. Were they pro you going into acting?
Yeah. I would say yes. Well, both of my parents were musicians, and my dad supported us as a musician for over 30 years. And then eventually my mom kind of quit music so that she can, be the sort of stay-at-home mom, homemaker person. So, my dad is very supportive, and he told me, he's like, hey, I understand why you need to do this. It's a passion. I totally get it, but just know this. You're going to go hungry. Those are the exact words he used.
Right.
So, yeah.
And when you were doing acting, did you think you wanted to become a comedic actor, or how did you sort of transition from traditional acting into improv?
So when I started taking improv classes, I was taking a scene study class with Cotter Smith at the Beverly Hills Playhouse in the New York chapter. I was doing that for 6 months, and I don't know, I kind of wanted to try something different, take a new class, so I was actually going to take a different acting class, and my boyfriend at the time who was taking improv classes and was very involved with the pit. You know, he got on the house team, and he always encouraged me to take improv classes at the pit. He said, you should do it, you'll love it, etc. And so I approached it, I guess he was sort of my introduction to the classes at the pit, and I have no improv experience whatsoever. I always found, and I still do to a certain extent, I always found improv to be very difficult and very hard because it's totally on the spot, made up, and I'm so used to having like a script in my hand, and you know, I'm like, hey, all the words are there for me, I don't have to make stuff up.
Yeah.
And so I approached it in a way where I wanted to be a better actor, be more of a present, free, open actor, and so that's how I started.
And when you got into comedy, I think most people who get into comedy, you get into it kind of admiring certain people or sort of trying to emulate certain people, and then you find your own voice. When you started doing this, I mean, who were the people that inspired you, or who you thought, you know, I'd like to kind of follow in their footsteps as far as comedy or acting was concerned?
Ooh, that's a good question. I've never thought about that one.
Well, who's somebody that you're like a big fan of when you watch their stuff? You're like, wow, they're really good at what they do.
Okay, so Steve Carell comes up. He's a first man, or first actor. It doesn't matter, male, female.
Yeah.
I've always really, really admired him.
Yeah.
And I think it was really a 40-year-old virgin that really did it for me.
Right.
Because he's just so simple, and he's not trying to be funny. He just is. And I think he's a great actor as well. Not just
totally.
like a comedic actor, but with his dramatic roles as well. And I love him on The Office.
No, I always think the coolest thing about, and I think why that show's kind of lost some steam without him, is I just felt like that character was sort of endlessly fascinating, especially when they would give you these little glimpses of what his childhood was like, and you get this picture of this person who's so sympathetic, so that when he does these just unbelievably asinine things, you're still with him because he's just such a sweet guy. And I think Steve Carell seems to be such like a sweet, nice person that just comes through in his performances. And I guess I feel like with improv, like when I watch other people on the team, I feel like, you know, they can't hide who they really are, and it sort of comes out. And we all have these weird sides to us too. But I guess, what do you think is your weird side that you bring to the group?
My weird side?
Yeah.
Is probably just like my sense of humor. I mean, that's such a stupid cop-out answer. I would say I don't do characters, really. I don't think that's where my strength lies.
Maybe that's because you are a character.
Maybe. Hey, there we go, maybe. I think, big emotions? I don't know, I'm quick to going there, I guess, like as far as like being really dramatic with my responses.
Right.
I'm a pervert, so I think, I get really base sometimes, like the sexual humor comes out. And maybe that's like a cheap laugh or whatever. Not that I'm looking for a cheap laugh, but it just goes there.
No, I mean, you know, you go with what you know, and that's apparently what you know.
I don't know. I don't know if that's a strength, but that's what I do.
That's what I do. So let me ask you this. If you were an animal, what animal would you be?
A panda. Panda?
Yeah, that's your first answer. You got to go with it. If you could have any superpower, what would it be and why?
I know the answer to this because I've thought about this many, many times. If I had a superpower, it would be the ability to freeze time.
Okay. Like Zach Morris.
I don't know about like Zach Morris.
I mean, he did freeze time. I'm just throwing it out.
Okay, yeah, I guess like Zach Morris. Yeah, I want to have the ability to.
Now, why
stop time?
Why would you want to stop time?
Because I just have so much to do, and sometimes I just kind of want to put everything on hold, like on pause, go take a vacation for like 3 months, and then come back and then pick up where I left off, or I don't know. I just need a little time out sometimes, and I feel like 24 hours is not enough time in the day for me, personally.
Sure. Okay, well, let me ask you this. As a traditional trained actor, if you could play any part in the history of American theater, stage, or film, your pick, any era, any time ever, and you can say, that's the part I would like to play, what would it be?
Oh my god. That's really good. Lady Macbeth.
Oh.
maybe even Juliet. I know that's so stupid and probably very expected, but
there are no stupid answers when it comes to this.
my gut says Lady Macbeth.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you hope to get out of this whole improv experience? I mean, you've been doing it now for at least a year, and we've been going way back. I've known you since level 1.
Mm-hmm.
You've suffered with me. So, what is your what is your goal? What do you hope to get out of this? Besides improving your acting, that goes without saying.
Improv and our team, obviously in class, is a major creative outlet for me.
Mm-hmm.
And, with many actors in New York City where you sort of have to create your own opportunities, and even though I'm not doing quote-unquote traditional theater, doing plays and stuff, this is actually a really good way for me to feel like I'm in control of what I'm doing, getting ourselves out there, trying to book gigs, trying to do promotions, etc. And it's very satisfying being able to be a part of something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I just killed a bug. Sorry.
For those listening at home, Helen just killed a bug on my computer, and there's a smear of blood. So I think it's very telling that she said the word tough when she thought of herself, because mid-sentence, she just killed a fucking bug.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. We're going to continue.
Yeah,
so.
It allows a lot of creative outlet, and gives me a sense of control, I guess,
That's
in
good.
My very out of control lifestyle.
Yeah. And you've been sort of like the best kind of cheerleader, promoter for the team. Is this like the
am
first?
I don't know.
I think that's fair to say.
I
think that's fair to say. So let me ask you this. So what would you say is your favorite curse word?
Motherfucker.
Okay, what is your favorite sound?
Child laughing.
What is your least favorite sound?
Definitely my alarm clock going off in the morning. Maybe these cabbies honking in the middle of rush hour right outside my window. That could be another. Alarm clock, maybe, yeah.
Okay. If you were to die, and I know it's kind of morbid, and go to heaven, and you'd be greeted at the pearly gates, what would you think they would say to you?
You made it.
You made it. Do you think, do you believe in that sort of stuff?
It's a yes and a no.
Yeah.
I don't think I do.
But
I
you
don't.
repent on your deathbed?
But, the idea of, living eternally in somewhere nice sounds nice. I also hate the idea of dying eternally somewhere awful.
Right.
So,
do you have, a favorite improv memory, like a moment on stage that you look back on as sort of, that was your best, and that was your happiest moment doing this?
Happiest moment, improv memory. Ooh. In front of an audience?
Or it can be in a rehearsal or anything.
It was actually in rehearsal.
Yeah.
It was probably one of our first few rehearsals with Mass Hysteria. I think this was before we had our 7th member. It was one rehearsal where we didn't even have a coach because our coach was unavailable for the day. And we're like, hey, let's just get together anyway, and let's just do it. And it was one of the best rehearsals practice ever, because I came out of it feeling like I was rejuvenated a bit, and I sort of found the joy of doing improv again, because I think, the pressures of class and, I think it kind of got to me and got in my head a little bit, but that practice, I just had so much fun with people that I really like to play with and that I like in general. So, yeah.
Before we go, just some parting words. I mean, you were talking about the group, so maybe we should end on that note. I mean, what do you think is sort of the strength of the group? What do you think, makes us special, and why do you think people should be excited to come out and see us on a semi-regular basis?
I think each of us are all very different, which I think is great, because each of us we all have something different to offer. Characters, straight man, quirks, etc., whatever. And And like you said in our promo video, we're extremely sexy.
All right, thanks for being with us, Helen.
Thank you, Adam.